What happens when the city of blinding lights is just a facade for some of America's most sinister deceptions? Las Vegas seduces you with promises of untold riches, of lavish luxury and endless thrills. But peel back that glittering veneer and you'll find a cesspool of scams, treacherous alleys, and gambling dens engineered for your failure. Unsuspecting tourists are bled for hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars, completely oblivious to the fleecing. The locals, they know the score, but every year millions of hopeful visitors march willingly into these predatory traps. From outrageous resort fees that are nothing short of theft, to duplicitous promoters and perilous backstreets, Vegas harbors a dark underbelly that you ignore at your own peril. You absolutely must stay with me until the end, because the final revelation is the most horrifying of them all. Number 9. The airport slot machines. The biggest swindle in the city. The moment you step off that plane in Las Vegas, before your bags even hit the carousel, you're ambushed by a symphony of flashing lights and chiming bells. These airport slots are disguised as a harmless, fun way to kick off your vacation. But make no mistake, it's a trap. Statistically, these are among the most predatory machines in all of Vegas, paying back a pathetic 85%. Compared to the 90 to 92% you might find on the Strip. That gap might seem insignificant, but over hundreds of pulls, it's a mathematical guarantee that your money will vanish into thin air faster here than anywhere else. And why is this so insidious? Because the casino operators know you're buzzing with excitement, completely distracted, and desperate to plunge into the Vegas fantasy. They ruthlessly exploit that just-landed adrenaline rush. While savvy gamblers march straight past this nonsense to the Strip or downtown for a fighting chance, unsuspecting newcomers are hemorrhaging a huge portion of their budget before they even see their hotel room. These airport machines are just the gateway to a much larger, more sinister problem: convenience gambling. Every single thing in Las Vegas is meticulously designed to trigger your most reckless, impulsive spending. Whether it's the extortionate early check-in fees, the $50 poolside cocktails, or the hidden resort charges they conveniently forget to mention, the airport slots are the opening salvo. This isn't entertainment. It's the first move in a citywide conspiracy engineered to systematically drain your wallet. So the next time you land at McCarran, or Harry Reid as they now call it, you must remember this warning. You must resist that siren call. Clutch your cash tightly until you've done your research and found a casino where the odds aren't laughably, insultingly stacked against you. And if you think the airport machines are a raw deal, just wait. The table games are where the rigging becomes even more blatant. This brings us to number 8, the abomination known as 000 roulette, and the death of the fair game. Imagine the scene. You settle in at a roulette table, the wheel a hypnotic blur. Chips piled high, complimentary drinks arriving without end. You're lulled into believing you have a nearly 50-50 chance on red or black. But in Las Vegas, that fundamental illusion of fairness is being systematically dismantled by the disgrace of 000 roulette. For years, Vegas roulette wheels had 2 zeros, which already gave the house a hefty 5.26% edge. It was bad, but you could live with it. Then, they dared to introduce the third zero. With 3 zeros on the board, the house's advantage skyrockets to a staggering 7.69%. That is a 46% leap in the casino's favor, implemented practically overnight. The casinos have the audacity to market this as more exciting or faster paced. The reality? It's a silent, predatory tax on anyone who hasn't done the math. Just think, if you're wagering a mere $25 per spin, playing for a single hour means you're statistically doomed to lose $60 to $70, all because of that one greedy extra zero. But the fallout from this is far worse than just lost cash. 000 roulette is the ultimate symbol of how corporate Vegas has abandoned any pretense of hospitality, shifting to a ruthless model of squeezing every last cent from its visitors. It's no longer about offering a fair shot at winning. It's about designing, quote, entertainment that is a mathematical impossibility to beat over time. Locals wouldn't be caught dead near these tables. High rollers openly mock them. Yet tourists, particularly the wide-eyed first-timers, queue up in droves to be fleeced. They are completely oblivious that they're walking straight into one of the most lopsided bets on the entire casino floor. And this plague is spreading, not just on the Strip, but to mid-tier casinos where you'd hope for better. The true danger here isn't just the financial loss, it's the catastrophic erosion of trust. Once players finally realize they're being treated like cattle to be milked, why would they ever come back? But for now, Vegas shamelessly keeps pushing this garbage, banking on the hypnotic lights to blind you to the cold, hard math. So I'm telling you, if you see a 000 wheel, turn around and walk away. A few 00 tables still exist downtown, offering a marginally less insulting chance. But if you find this manipulation of table games appalling, then brace yourself for the neighborhoods where the stakes aren't just your money, they're your life. Number 7, Naked City. A crime-infested nightmare lurking just behind the Strip's glamorous facade. Mere steps from the dazzling spectacle of the Strip exists a place most tourists are blissfully unaware of. A place locals warn is a strict no-go zone. They call it Naked City. A decaying, forgotten slum lurking behind the rebranded stratosphere, now insultingly called the Strat. What was once affordable housing for casino workers has devolved into one of Las Vegas's most notoriously treacherous corners. The grim statistics don't lie. Naked City perpetually tops the charts for violent assaults, rampant drug crimes, and brazen thefts in the entire valley. The crime rate here isn't just high, it's a staggering double the Las Vegas average. And these aren't just numbers. Unsuspecting visitors are violently mugged, carjacked, or terrorized within minutes of straying from the heavily policed tourist corridor. So what fuels this urban nightmare? A poisonous cocktail of abject poverty, a revolving door of transient residents, and the toxic spillover from the Strip's late-night hedonistic chaos. Don't be fooled by the casino's private armies. The second you step beyond their sanitized borders, law enforcement presence evaporates into thin air. And the predators know this all too well, watching as intoxicated tourists stumble into their streets, their wallets fat with cash, their smartphones held aloft for one last selfie. They are lambs to the slaughter, a perfect setup for robbery or something far, far worse. The absolute tragedy is the calculated deception, preying on visitors who think they're just exploring some authentic, off-the-beaten-path neighborhood. They leave the Strat, wander a few blocks, and suddenly, the illusion shatters. They find themselves trapped in a hellscape of boarded-up apartments, menacing graffiti, and street corners that serve as open-air drug markets. This is the horrifying reality that Vegas desperately tries to hide, the polar opposite of the glittering fantasy it sells. The locals have a chillingly simple rule. If you're near the Strat, you do not walk around after dark. Don't you dare chase some authentic Vegas vibe outside the Strip's guarded perimeter. That isn't an adventure, it's a potential death sentence. If you must pass through, you do it locked inside a rideshare or taxi. Period. Here's the terrifying takeaway. In Las Vegas, you can lose far more than just your money in the casinos. You can lose your safety, your well-being, your life, if you cross the wrong invisible line. And if you think the danger only lurks in the shadows of Naked City, you are dangerously mistaken. The next trap is far more insidious because it's hidden in plain sight, right inside the so-called luxury hotels. Number 6. Resort fees. The legalized theft you are powerless to escape. Imagine it. You book a Vegas hotel room online for $89 a night. A steal, right? You've been played. The moment you arrive, reality hits you like a sucker punch. A mandatory, non-negotiable resort fee of $45 per night plus tax is slammed onto your bill. Suddenly, your budget vacation has ballooned by hundreds of dollars. This is without a doubt the most despised and predatory scam in Las Vegas. And the worst part is, it's perfectly legal. They once claimed these fees covered extras like Wi-Fi or gym access. A pathetic lie to justify justify their greed. But here is the brutal, unvarnished truth. You are forced to pay this fee whether you use these so-called services or not. According to a damning 2024 Las Vegas Review-Journal report, the average strip resort fee has grotesquely climbed to $42.50 per night, with some luxury predators pushing $55 or more. This isn't an annoyance. It's a calculated deception designed to distort the true cost of staying in Vegas. Visitors are left feeling swindled, betrayed, and utterly furious, and for good reason. When you compare Vegas hotels with honest destinations like Reno or Laughlin, where these parasitic fees are negligible or non-existent, the Strip is exposed as a shameless corporate cash grab. For a family staying just 5 nights, those fees alone will bleed them of nearly $300 on top of the room rate. The consequences of this greed ripple far beyond angry online reviews. It's a cancer on the city's reputation. Canadians, once the city's most loyal tourists, are now screaming online that these insidious hidden costs have made a trip to Vegas completely unaffordable. An exodus is underway. Even bachelor parties and large groups are fleeing to destinations like Cabo, Biloxi, or Laughlin, places where the price you see is the price you actually pay. And don't you dare believe this legalized robbery will end anytime soon. The hotels are addicted to it. It's a backdoor profit machine. Unlike room rates, which can fluctuate, these fees only ever go up, and they are conveniently exempted from many online discount displays, making hotels look deceptively cheap. So if you're even considering a Vegas trip, you must budget for at least $40 to $60 more per night than what's advertised. If you don't, that so-called deal will become the biggest and most painful gamble of your vacation. But if you thought hidden hotel fees were a sneaky betrayal, wait until you learn about the casinos that lure you in with a facade of luxury, only to leave you financially and spiritually broken with nothing but regret. Number 5, Circus Circus, the grotesque illusion of a family-friendly casino. On the surface, Circus Circus markets itself as a paradise for families, a whimsical wonderland. Garish clowns, rigged carnival games, a giant faded circus tent, and the chaotic adventure dome all work to create a powerful mirage. Parents are duped into thinking it's the perfect place to bring their kids, while they hit the casino floor. But ask any local and they'll give you a stark warning. This is one of the Strip's most misleading and hazardous casinos. First and foremost, the rock-bottom hotel rates are nothing but bait. Circus Circus masterfully lures you in with the promise of being the cheapest stay on the Strip, but the horrifying reality is a predatory trap of punishing resort fees, decrepit rooms, and outrageously inflated food prices, leaving guests fleeced for nearly the cost of a mid-tier hotel while receiving appallingly subpar quality. And then there's the treacherous location. Circus Circus is deliberately isolated on the far north end of the Strip, dangerously removed from the main tourist arteries. You might think that's a good thing, but you'd be dead wrong. It means you are perilously close to some of the most menacing neighborhoods in Vegas, including the notorious Naked City we've already warned you about. Families who dare to walk outside after dark are plunged into a world of menacing uncertainty. A far cry from the wholesome fantasy peddled in their glossy brochures. Crime isn't just a concern, it's a constant threat. And don't take my word for it, official Las Vegas police reports paint a grim, undeniable picture. The zone surrounding Circus Circus is a documented hotbed of repeated robberies, violent assaults, and rampant car break-ins year after agonizing year. Now mix that danger with a relentless stream of unsuspecting budget travelers, and you've created a feeding ground for opportunistic predators. Step inside and the nightmare only deepens. The casino floor is infamous for its brutally tight slot machines, engineered to deliver some of the most abysmal payouts on the entire Strip. And those carnival games? They aren't innocent fun. They are classic midway swindles where your chances of winning are practically non-existent. Parents who arrive expecting a haven of family-friendly joy are instead left feeling violated, overcharged, and utterly betrayed. The catastrophic consequence of this deception? Circus Circus systematically annihilates its own customer base. Families who are victimized by this experience never return, and the poison of their warnings spreads like wildfire. In an age where Las Vegas is desperate for loyalty, that toxic reputation is a self-inflicted wound. So let me be clear. That giant grinning clown sign isn't an invitation, it's a dire warning. The moment you check in, the joke is on you. But if you believe a dilapidated casino is the worst this city can throw at you, brace yourself for the sidewalk predators and promoters who will systematically dismantle your night. And number 4, the insidious street promoter and VIP club scams. You know who I'm talking about. The shadowy figures in gaudy shirts thrusting cards into your hands. The women whispering promises of free drinks and exclusive VIP access. It masquerades as part of the Vegas spectacle, but locals know the horrifying truth. These so-called promoters are orchestrating one of the city's most vicious rackets. This is their predatory playbook. A promoter corners unsuspecting tourists, dangling seductive offers of bottle service, elite nightclub entry, or deeply discounted excursions. They'll wave glossy flyers in your face, casually drop celebrity names, and use high-pressure tactics to force you into securing your deal with an immediate cash payment or a swipe of your card. But what they conveniently omit is that the deal is almost always a complete fabrication. That $50 VIP pass to a hot club? It's a sham. You could have entered for free just by signing up online or showing up at the right time. And that $200 bottle service special? The moment you're inside, you're ambushed by hidden gratuities, mandatory tips, and exorbitant mixer fees that cause the bill to explode into the thousands of dollars. As for the tours, you'll be herded onto a cheap bus and dumped at second-rate strip malls or dive bars you would never willingly visit. But the financial sting is nothing compared to the threat to your safety. Be warned, many of these promoters operate completely outside the law. They are phantom freelancers who will melt back into the crowd the second your cash is in their hands. The horror stories are endless. Tourists being humiliatingly denied entry at club doors with worthless wristbands, or discovering fraudulent charges on their credit cards for services that never existed. Why is this so critically important? Because this exposes the rotting underbelly of Vegas tourism, the systematic erosion of trust. Visitors arrive dreaming of world-class hospitality, only to be hunted on the sidewalks like easy marks at a crooked carnival. This betrayal fuels a toxic tension between locals and tourists, forcing police to constantly issue desperate warnings to avoid these unlicensed predators. For the people who live here, these rackets make their own city feel unsafe. For tourists, it's a guaranteed way to have a night ruined and a wallet emptied faster than you can lose a hand of blackjack. Heed this unbreakable rule. If any deal on the streets of Vegas sounds too good to be true, it is an absolute lie. Protect yourself by dealing only with official box offices and hotel concierge desks, or verified, reputable apps. Never, ever trust a random stranger with a shiny flyer. Because if you think these sidewalk sharks are bad, just wait until you discover the betrayal waiting for you inside the casinos, where the very games once synonymous with fairness have been corrupted to rig the outcome against you. Coming in at number 3, the corruption of blackjack. The death of the fair game. Blackjack was once the revered crown jewel of Las Vegas. It was a game of skill, beloved by players because a sharp strategy could shrink the house edge to less than 1%. It was the last bastion in the casino where your skill truly gave you a fighting chance. But in the cold corporate Vegas of today, that fair fight is being systematically erased. Now, we must confront the plague of 6-5 blackjack payouts. For generations, the sacred rule was that a natural blackjack paid 3-2. A $100 bet rightfully earned you $150. But now, in an act of pure greed, more and more casinos are switching to a 6-5 payout, which means your glorious $100 blackjack win is a pathetic $120 payout. You might think that's trivial, but don't be a fool. Over time, that seemingly small change pushes the house edge from under 1% to a staggering 2%, literally doubling the casino's power to drain your wallet. But the deception doesn't end there. These corporate behemoths insidiously slip in other rules designed for one purpose: to crush you. The dealer hitting on a soft 17, crippling restrictions on doubling down, and mountains of decks that make card counting a complete fantasy. Taken together, these predatory quote-unquote tweaks have corrupted Blackjack, twisting it from a game of skill and chance into one of the strip's most insidious traps. And the most sickening part? Countless tourists are completely oblivious, mesmerized by the flashing lights and the lure of $10 tables, handed a cheap drink and diving headfirst into a slaughter, never realizing the math has been rigged from the start. Locals, in the know, avoid strip blackjack like the plague. They flee to off-strip or downtown havens where fair 3-2 tables still breathe even with higher minimums. For the unsuspecting visitor, the consequences of this deception are absolutely devastating. A player hoping to make $500 last the night will watch in horror as it's incinerated twice as fast at a 6-5 table. Suddenly, the illusion of a fighting chance shatters, replaced by a bitter taste of frustration and the sickening realization you've been had. And yet, the corporate machine keeps pushing this scam, preying on the ignorance of the average tourist. So listen up, because this is the unvarnished truth. If you dare to play blackjack in Vegas, you must hunt down a 3-2 table, even if it costs more to sit down. Anything less and you're not a player. You're just making a charitable donation to a billionaire's bonus. And if you think a rigged game of blackjack is the worst this city can do to you, brace yourself. The next danger we're exposing cuts far deeper, because it's not just about your money. It's about a level of human suffering you will be forced to confront. Number 2, the homeless crisis, where the glittering facade of Vegas violently collides with its brutal reality. Walk the strip at night and you're blinded by the neon glow, the dancing fountains, and the endless sea of tourists snapping selfies. But I'm telling you, tear your eyes away from the glare, look into the shadows, and you will discover a second horrifying Vegas. This city is plagued by one of the highest per capita rates of homelessness in the entire United States. For every 1,000 residents, a shocking 5 to 6 people have no roof over their heads, more than double the national average of about 2. Most visitors arrive completely unprepared for this. They come for fantasy and are slapped in the face by the sight of tent cities under freeway overpasses and desperate people sleeping in the very doorways of the opulent casinos. Or worse, entire hidden communities existing in the storm drains beneath the city. It's estimated that thousands of souls are living in these subterranean flood tunnels, a dark, forgotten world just feet beneath the glittering strip. Why should you, the tourist, care? Because this crisis doesn't stay in the shadows. It spills out and shatters the very illusion Vegas is selling you. You will encounter desperate panhandlers on the pedestrian bridges. You will be confronted by aggressive hustlers right outside the casino doors, and you will see people in the throes of mental health crises wandering the strip. And while most are simply trying to survive, some of these encounters can and do escalate dangerously. This creates terrifying safety concerns, the very same concerns that locals have been screaming about for years, only to be ignored. The roots of this catastrophe run deep. Rents have skyrocketed. The median rent in Vegas has exploded by nearly 30% since 2020. Add in the devastating service sector layoffs from the pandemic and Nevada's criminally underfunded social safety net. The result? A raw, visible desperation festering in the heart of a city that worships excess. For the people who live here, the consequences are a daily tragedy. For tourists, it's a gut-wrenching reminder that this city of dreams is built on a fractured foundation. We hear it all the time. Families with children cutting their vacations short, fleeing after deeply unsettling encounters. Even loyal repeat visitors who once adored Vegas are now abandoning it for cheaper, cleaner, safer alternatives like Laughlin, Reno, or Biloxi. Vegas desperately wants to sell you an escape from reality, but its homeless crisis shoves a brutal dose of that reality right in your face. And that violent collision is leaving countless people asking the same haunting question. Is the magic of Vegas dead? But believe it or not, this isn't the city's lowest point. The number one danger on our list reveals something even more sinister. How the casino floor, the very heart and soul of Las Vegas, is having its humanity surgically removed. Number 1. The rise of the robot dealers. This is the story of how Vegas is losing its soul. There was a time, not long ago, when a Vegas table was more than just a place to burn money. It was about the banter with the dealer, the laughter shared with total strangers, the feeling of being part of a real, vibrant human experience. But walk into a casino today and you're met with a cold, sterile silence. You'll see robotic arms and automated tables systematically replacing the very people who gave this city its pulse, its personality. Electronic blackjack, automated craps, video roulette. These soulless machines are spreading like a plague. The casinos will tell you they're faster and more efficient, but don't buy the lie. The cold hard truth is they exist to slash labor costs and ensure any mistake made is always in their favor. What they're truly eliminating is the human connection. And why is that a catastrophe? Because Las Vegas wasn't built on algorithms. It was built on pure, unadulterated showmanship. The dealers were never just card slingers. They were performers, they were entertainers, and sometimes they were even your guide. They were the ones who taught you the ropes, who built the energy, who made the table come alive. A human dealer could make you smile even as you were losing your shirt, but these machines? They're utterly soulless, just flashing cold, unfeeling numbers on a screen as the house's relentless advantage bleeds your chips dry. But don't be fooled, this goes far beyond a simple lack of charm. This automation is a cold, calculated corporate strategy, a ruthless machine designed to prioritize obscene profits over people. Thousands of casino employees have been cast aside, their hours slashed, or their jobs eliminated entirely as these automatons take over. Tourists feel the chilling difference. The Strip is becoming a cold, hollow shell. So impersonal, it feels more like a sterile airport terminal than the vibrant entertainment capital of the world. For gamblers, this is the final betrayal, the absolute death of trust. You can't argue with a circuit board. You can't build a rapport with an algorithm. You can't even ask it to clarify a rule. It's a sterile, unfeeling void. And let's be brutally honest, it's a terrifying glimpse into a dystopian future. And this reveals the final, most insidious scam. Vegas isn't just draining your wallet anymore. It's systematically ripping out its own soul. And once that human connection is extinguished, what's possibly left to bring anyone back? This is the rotten core of Las Vegas today. A nightmare of scams, treacherous zones, and corporate casinos that have forgotten the very reason people ever came. If you've been ensnared by one of these traps, I implore you to share your cautionary tale in the comments. You must like, subscribe, and spread this warning, because this is not the Vegas that you remember. It's a hollowed out ghost.